Alright, this section of the video is going to go straight in the beginning for the people who have ADHD and don't really care to spend 13 minutes on a certain character. So overall thoughts of this new opinion now that one day has passed and I've got to fight a lot of Mahito and Choso users. Mahito is really good. You should go play him. He has a new move, he has a death counter now, and his first awakening is back, as you probably know because you've been fighting him all day yesterday. And my overall thoughts on Choso. Choso is very mid. I don't think he is worth the 300 Robux that he is now locked behind the paywall if you do not already have the character pass. Anyway, the rest of this video will be dedicated as to why Mahito is that guy and why Choso is not him. Well, now that everybody has had a day to have fun with the not new, but newly free character, yeah, he's pretty good. Now, this is not anything new. Mahito has been probably overall the best character in this game for probably a while now. Even it's during his whole crazy remove the first awakening, only the second one now, but now it's been re-added. I feel like Mahito for the longest time has been the best character in the game. And now he has a new move, and he's now free for everybody. So, and just in case you haven't seen the dozens of new videos about him, Mahito got his first awakening back and a new move to go along with it. So let's check it out. So I'm sure as everybody knows now, Mahito is pretty busted. But he also got his first awakening back, as you can clearly see, with a new move, Spike Wrath. This move is another AoE move, which Mahito has billions of. But not only that, but this AoE move, as in implied by it, hits multiple people and does a pretty good amount of damage. And apparently lunges you forward as well. I did not know that. But yeah, Spike Wrath is pretty good, I would say. Not to mention his domain, I still think is the second best in the game. You can argue for the best. I think Malevolent Shrine is a tiny bit better, but you know, that all depends on the skill level of the player. I feel like a high skilled player gets killed more often probably in a Malevolent Shrine than they would a Perfection. But we're not here to talk about domains and apples and oranges. We're here to talk about why Mahito is the best character in the game, and why you, if you don't have the free character pass, and don't worry, Choso will get you know, some flack this video. I'm going to be the ugly duckling, spoilers, of why I don't like Choso and why I don't think now the early access pass is worth it. But anyway, that's for about 3 minutes from now. But anyway, Mahito, you know, you get in a second wing form, you press G, you can press it, you can stop it early by pressing G again. It normally takes up a pretty good amount of bar, so normally you gotta choose between being in your first awakening and second awakening, which is a pretty decent balancing, you know, quirk in my opinion. I feel like if you were to make this long enough to where you can be in your first awakening and just kind of have enough time to go in your second, that would be crazy. But since you normally got to choose between this awakening and the other one, I think it does balance it out a little bit. But that being said, I feel like this awakening is probably better overall for usually 1v1s, 2v2s, sometimes even 3v3s, because of this silly little move right here that I'll be showing off. Because now, usually any 3v1, 2v1, or hell, even 1v1 if you just want to win, you now have the death counter in the form of Head Splitter with this unlucky gentleman right here. Unless I can't time it right because I'm a fucking idiot. But since I missed it, now we can see that it has a pretty hefty cooldown, so don't miss it. Anyway, yeah. I didn't even know it had a huh sound effect. That's great. I love that. The move is a little special. It's the first really slow motion move and also have sound effects, which is pretty great. But also it's a death counter where it one-shots any opponent. I haven't seen it really too often. People have been trying to go for a second awakening just for this move alone, which I think is indicative of, you know, how hype this really is. But it also takes away from this character right here. But, you know, that's okay because, you know, Mahito's now free and he's not. So I'm not really going to be, like, shaming people for not trying a new character because he's locked behind a paywall now. I have a feeling that this, like, I don't know how they would nerf it other than, like, if you just miss it, like, you get one opportunity to use it and that's it. Or if you do use it, your mode goes away. But I think that's kind of lame if that is the case, if you do use it and the mode goes away. Because then this mode would only really be relegated to really this. I don't really want it nerfed, even though I just said it, you know, a nerf idea and it would be lame. But at the same time, it's like, I can see this becoming a slight issue. Not in the issue that like it's unbalanced or anything, because it already is. This whole game's unbalanced, so I'm not going to argue about balancing, because this isn't the right game to argue about that. If you want to argue about that, go to Ultimate Battlegrounds. I think this game has a certain charm, and I think balance was already out the window the moment they decided to make everything busted in its own way. Really, I think this is going to be an issue, as in it's just not going to be fun to play against, kind of like Death Counter. Imagine you're trying to fight a Mahito. He pops his awakening. Okay, let me pop my awakening. Hits me with a black flash. Okay, he disengages. He hits another person with a black flash because you're in pub servers. And then he hits another one. You know? All of a sudden, you're now in your awakening trying to fight this Mahito that's now in a second awakening. You can either A, run, or B, try and fight him. If you try and fight him, guess what? He now has this move, which is an instant KO with basically any move in the game. So normally your best option, if you do see that happening, is to run away. But then you're running away. You know, what's fun in the game if you're going to be running away? Not to mention, we have this lovely chat box right here, which you can go at each other's throat all day long, which is awesome. But just to reinforce the one-shot nature of the move, once again, it's just truly a one-shot. You know, imagine that happens to you. It can happen with fucking trash cans. You could throw a trash can at a Mahito with the death counter, and guess what? It's like Majin Kick. You're going to get your ass served on a fucking platter. So I think that the fact that it's locked behind Mahito's second awakening is a good thing. But now that Mahito does have this ultimate counter move in the second awakening, I have a feeling that his first awakening is usually going to be relegated now to pressing G 3 times. But enough about glazing Mahito. Let's talk about the other character, Choso. Now, I do not have Choso, as if I click on him right here, early access. So I've only fought him a handful of times. I was going to make originally, you know, a video when he first came out saying that, you know, once again, everybody was in a honeymoon phase, so I didn't want to really come out with the video saying that he's bad, he's terrible, you know, which was true in an extent. Like, we can all say that when Choso first came out, lacking a one move, literally only being 75% of a character, not having an awakening, and not only that, but Supernova being extremely difficult to hit consistently, you can't really say that Choso was a good character. You know, obviously, now that he's not the only early access character, but now this busted guy is now free, I've only fought him a handful of times. Even still, I had like the whole day yesterday, not the whole day, I was editing, but I had a few hours yesterday to hop around in pub servers to try and fight this guy along with Mahito. I can tell you, I really only fought Mahito. I only found one dude really using Choso, and even then, like, I didn't really get to fight him because he was getting dogged on by every single other person in the server, including myself, my Mahito. But before Mahito was free, I did get to fight him a handful of times. I think 5 times for counting from memory. From the fighter's POV, like the one getting attacked, I was using Hikari, by the way, and a little bit of a Yuji. He doesn't really seem super good. Granted, you know, the people I was fighting, like, some had a little bit lower kills than me. I think the lowest was like 400, but like some of them had like some pretty good amount of kills, like 1,000, 1,500, you know, like decent people at the game. Not to say that I was dog walking them, but to say that every single time I fought them, I was worried that, oh, she's playing Choso, I'm just gonna lose. You know, I wasn't thinking that at all. In fact, I was mostly going into the fight like, this guy, after the first few fights, I'm like, man, you know, Choso really isn't that guy. And in my original video, I was gonna really harp on that, like, he only has 3 moves. You know, why would you release a character that's 75% of a character? Granted, it's still early access, I get that. But now that he has a complete moveset, he's got a little better, I will admit. I think Choso is viable. Not first and foremost, you know, before anybody says, you're just hating on Choso, Choso's good. Every single character in this game, as of this moment, is viable. You know, I'm fine with him not having an awakening, but the amount of orbs it takes for him from his awakening bar, like, granted, Gojo does kind of have the same issue, but Choso, it's more intertwined with his kit. You know, like, if you use your special with Gojo, that's basically guaranteed more damage, unless you want to use it for a teleport. And then you can usually do the Gojo tech of, you know, use your teleport, look behind, and now you're behind the character, now you can start attacking him. That's borderline guaranteed damage, unless you've been doing that, fighting the same person over and over and over, and then he can predict that. Choso, it's not the same. You just spawn little blood supernovas around you, and then you can send them out, and then it's kind of like a weird like range projectile that's like yay in front of you that you kind of gotta maneuver towards your opponent. Like it's a little weird, it's a little clunky, like from the receiving end at least what it feels like. I have been hit by it. It does do a good amount of damage. Choso does do a good amount of damage. But really what I want to say with this video is I'm going to be the ugly duckling. I don't think Choso is worth the 300 Robux paywall. And that's all I really had to say. So go have fun with Mahito. If you enjoyed Choso, you enjoyed Choso. Just because I said he's bad or he's mid doesn't mean that you should stop playing him if you enjoy him. So yeah, like and subscribe, I guess.
Yeah. Whip beat 007 like I'm sophisticated. Fit on me expensive foreign fabrics, I'm sophisticated. My girl bad as hell, I wipe that shit, she so sophisticated. My life so sophisticated.